Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Con Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is mentorship, M&A, and making a difference. We have with us Siddharth Marwah, partner, Khaitan and Company. From executing landmark M&A deals to mentoring over 1,500 students through his certificate courses, Siddharth's career has been nothing short of inspiring. With a heart committed to legal aid and a mind wired for corporate complexity, he brings a rare blend of compassion and commercial acumen to the table. And he's been a Forbes India top individual lawyer. Join us as we uncover his journey from the classrooms of campus law to the boardrooms of India's biggest deals and the legacy he's building along the way. So, welcome, Siddharth, to this coffee conversation.
Thank you so much, Amir, and thank you for having me, and thank you for your kind words.
Okay, so let me explain you the flow. There are three rounds: professional, personal, and a surprise. The rapid fire round, where you will be in the hot
Oh,
seat. And, as you have been the
ah,
part of Khaitan's AI journey, and this book will be adding value to that conversation. Which
perfect.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, host at Coffee Conversation, and author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startup, SMEs, world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question, Siddharth, you have built an impressive career in M&A and corporate law. What attracted you to this niche in the first place, and how has the journey been?
It's very interesting how I got into corporate law to begin with. My all my entire college life, all the internships that I did and everything that I did were all litigation focused, right? Because I think growing up, I saw my grandfather. So he was a full criminal lawyer. He was a senior advocate, and so I was always fascinated by the litigation side of it. And so that's all I did, right? I only did litigation internships and everything while I was in law school. When I was in law school and I was very active over there in a lot of things, so I was awarded a scholarship for in the University of Minnesota in the US for 100% scholarship to go over there and study. So what happened was that once law school got done, I got to know that, so I was just wondering what to do, by the time when I was supposed to go for my LLM before that, and I came to know that there was a law firm near my house where there was a position open for an associate in corporate law. Now, I was also always wanted to try it out, and I thought, why not? And it was near my house, so I went over there to give an interview. Right. It just so happened that I gave the interview. It's a very free flowing interview. We had a very good discussion. I came back, and 2 days later, I get a call that they're offering me a job, and I was like, it's worth trying. It started with that. I started working. What started as 2 months, I started liking the process. I started liking how things were happening, and I was always, wanted you trying to look for more purpose in what you do, and that's always been something that drives me. When I started doing it, when I started my career at Indus Law, which today is very big law firm which has become. So at that point, they were doing a lot of work for startups and with a lot of founders. So and that was the time when that entire Make in India campaign was at its peak. It was all happening. So I was very inspired by the process of meeting founders, helping them raise initial capital, guiding them through their initial journey, and it just felt very natural to me. So it started with 2 years. I took a deferment at that point of time. I deferred my LLM for a year because I was enjoying my work, and I thought it's better that I can learn more in a year with working over here than I would have if I had gone for an LLM. So I didn't, and I worked there for a year. So those 2 months became a year. Then that again after the year, I again felt like I was doing a lot of work, and that removing myself from that and going from my LLM did not make sense to me at that point of time. And yeah, what started as 2 months became a year, and today it's 10 years now into the profession. So it's been a very good journey. It's like sometimes I think, I don't know, you just find your calling.
Hmm, that's beautiful. So let's dive deep in conversation. How has the journey across top tier law firms shaped your approach to complex transactions M&A deals?
I've had the, I've been blessed that way, and I've had the benefit of having worked with one of the top legal minds in the country. In all the law firms that I've worked with, I was in Indus, then I worked at Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, and now for the last 7 years, I've been at Khaitan. So it's been really good. I think every place has, taught me something, maybe with culture, to just my way and approach to work and complex transactions. I think ultimately what I've learned through the journey is that each transaction is separate. Each transaction has a learning curve of its own. I think what you need to do be is that you need to know your fundamentals very nicely. And you also need to understand that people on both sides of the tables are human beings. No, I just feel sometimes when people are entering into transactions, they're at negotiations, they get really bogged down by the fact that we have to. I don't know. It's a very dog eat dog world. You have to go do this. You have to do a lot of things, but ultimately what I've realized over the years is it's just a group of people trying to make the deal work, right? So nobody's your enemy, nobody's there to put you down or do whatever that is. So as long as you're able to sit at a table and find a solution that works for everybody, I think that's what corporate deal making is all about. And the role which has emerged, and I've seen, especially in these law firms and working with everybody, is that what our clients today expect us is not to be merely just legal advisors. We are deal makers because being a lawyer, you have a 360-degree view of whatever is happening in the transaction. And we help facilitate different parties. And we have, because we've done the diligence on the company, we are making and all the right packages, etc. So we are closest to the management in that perspective. So I think that role has really broadened, and I've had the opportunity to work on one of the biggest deals which are there, and with different people, just from the people management perspective of it, just dealing with the counterparty. So it's, oh yeah, it's been a good journey, and I think it's really taught me a lot.
Wow. Okay, so let's go memory down lane. What's been the most challenging M&A deal you have worked on and what did it teach you?
There've been a bunch of it. Like I said, every deal comes with its own set of challenges, etc. Uh, I think early on in my career, when I had joined Khaitan, I did my first sports M&A deal, which was there. That was something, and it was this very big global football club which was making its entry into India, buying a team in the soccer league in India, and it was really good. And I think that taught me, that was how a big ticket transaction of that scale, everybody sitting down. I the first partner that I worked with, and just seeing that even at that level, that senior partner, the amount of effort he was putting into the job to get it done, it and that taught me that there is never a time where you can take your eye off the ball, right? So that, plus that was the first time we were also dealing, as, because it was an India centric transaction which had certain global elements as well. So we were like the global counsel on the deal. We were coordinating with lawyers and parties with different jurisdictions, giving them guidance, doing a coordinating. And obviously the challenges, and obviously sports law is something which I'm very passionate about, and I do a lot of sports law work. So that's been really good. So I think, yeah, so early on in my career that happened, and after that, like I said, every deal teaches you something. Like my father used to always say that learn everything from every person who's there, because while everybody is not right every time, but even a broken clock is right twice in a day. So just do that.
Wow. Okay. So thank you for leading me to my next question. As a partner at Khaitan and Company, how do you balance leadership responsibilities with active deal making?
Obviously, See, we are at a stage where, leadership with deal making, you have to execute a deal as well, but at the same time, you have to do business development. So it's a very fine line. I think you have to see at no point of time. I believe in two things. Firstly, your work should speak for yourself, for itself. So when I'm doing or executing a transaction, my 100% focus is on getting it done and getting it done with the best possible result for my client. Because I am a huge believer in the word of mouth as well. If you're true to your craft, if you've put in that hard work and if you're actually doing what you want to do correctly, I think it spreads, that word of mouth spreads. And I have always seen throughout my career that one thing always leads to another. Now, if you've done good work on a deal, people will always go back. They will tell other people. It's a small knit, close knit community, right? People, especially in the business community, the VC circles, and in different sectors in which you're working, so they'll always spread that word of mouth spreads, which is there. So for me, the core is obviously to being true to your craft. But what I also do is, and I do, I do a fair bit of it, is that in my free time, I am also doing, like, I'm having coffee with you. I also, I had to a lot of go to a lot of colleges. I take a lot of lectures. I'm a part of a lot of panel discussions, which also I feel help me get visibility. It all started as, because I think, well, since I am a little outwardly, and even since I was in school and college, so it is something which comes naturally to me. So I think that helps you get visibility as well. And obviously now with time, as you grow up the ladder, the responsibility of doing more business development obviously comes naturally as part of the plan. And the idea is to nurture the next generation of lawyers who can actually do more of the heavy lifting. But yeah, I think it's a nice journey for me as well, to find that balance.
Wow. Okay. Uh, so Siddharth, you have been part of AI initiatives at Khaitan. What was your role? I'm doing you two, three questions. Apna ye part, sorry. First was AI initiatives at Khaitan. What was your role? Second part, uh, what was your role? And can you briefly talk us talk to us about this AI tool which Khaitan made, and how is it helping lawyers at Khaitan?
So, see, obviously, at Khaitan, what we also do is, what you realize is that AI is here to stay. We do not believe that AI is in any shape or manner an enemy of the lawyers, right? In fact, going forward, AI, like, they keep saying it's not like lawyers are going to be replaced with AI, but you're definitely going to be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI properly. So
Yeah.
it's a friend. And even clients expect that you use AI to a certain extent to help increase your efficiency. At
Mm.
Khaitan, when we do so, Khaitan has made its own, and we have a brilliant team, which, the tech team, which works on developing it. And we have something called Khaitan AI, which is Kai, that is there. So, and there are different versions of it that they're developing. They come to us, that say that if I have a document, then I am supposed to put it in that system. And it's super secure because that Khaitan AI, all the servers are locally placed. It is, it's not like for Chat GPT where you put out something and the data goes. So
Mm.
keeping that, all that, because those are also parameters that for law firms to consider when you're actually adopting AI. So it's not that easy to use general AI tools without modifying them for your own use, because data privacy is something which is really important in that entire process. So we do that. So maybe, so you put a document in the software, it tries to make a summary of that document. So initially in the beta versions, they'll come to lawyers and they'll say that, okay, you know what, this is a document, you've worked on it, you've put it in the system, this is the summary which has come out. So where does it lack? And if you were to, if you would have not read this document and you were to only rely on the summary that this software has prepared, what all should have been there? It does case judgment, case law, the case laws, the judgments. It makes summaries and nice bullet points for that. So plus your a normal chat GPT type functions as well, where you put in some legal questions and it gives you the answers. So it's a lot, and obviously it is learning because it's machine learning, right? So
Mm.
the amount of data you put in it, the amount that the lawyers start using that software, it obviously grows with that. But the idea is to move along with the times. The idea is to increase efficiency. I think efficiency here is the key word, because if there is something that, if there is, you have a software which can say do help reduce
Mm.
your work hours by 2 hours or 3 hours, that means that it is more efficient for the client, and it is even more efficient for the firm, because you obviously can expand your pursuits. You can put in more time on actual qualitative stuff than just on the manual stuff that you're doing. So it's good, I think, Khaitan, the way it's done it. And to your question on what is the involvement of the lawyers, is what I was telling you, to give our feedback on what exactly the end product, does it meet your expectations or not. And these are, you try to give things which you've already worked on.
Wow, beautiful. So, with the legal landscape evolving rapidly, especially with AI and tech, how do you see
Mhm.
corporate law practice transforming in India?
See, like I said, when I look at legal landscape involving in India, it is not just in India, in fact, globally, and we have a lot of our clients who are Spanish clients and who are, different European jurisdictions. And all of their in-house legal teams are also working on developing something in relation to AI. The way it has worked out is that now, everybody knows that when you say that it'll take time, maybe that may not be the idea. So a lot of manual work can be automated. So how it's changing legal landscapes is that your, what do you call, especially in corporate law, first cut of drafts, the first cuts with all the standard clauses that a law firm would want, all the typical things that should be there, the good to haves. Every law firm, for them to generate that first cut will be much faster. So again, efficiency will be there. Can it fully replace what a lawyer does? No, because the nuance of it, what they say, that the experience, what comes with experience, is not something which, at least immediately, that software can do. Like I said, machine learning is also a process, so that even that software, that machine will also learn with time. So the experience which the lawyers already have, it's not something that can be replaced, because you can get a first draft, but the nuance. See, there are two, three things. The legal industry is a people-driven industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you go for a lawyer, you know that for a similar skill, you will have 5, 6, 10, 20 lawyers who may have a similar level of skill. You will go with the lawyer you have the most comfort with, or the one you believe will look after your interest the most, right? So after a point, you take the skill to be a given, and you want that personal comfort, because it's a people-driven industry. So I don't think that is something that can be replaced, but definitely when it comes to work efficiency, work quality as well, it will see a vast improvement.
Wow. Okay. So, Siddharth, how did winning, getting recognized by Forbes India change your perspective?
I think recognition is always a very good driving force, right? You it it's that subtle pat on your back which tells you that, okay, you're on the right path, and you should be working towards it. I think I was always working hard. I think when the first time I won that award, it what it did was it helped get me more recognition within the firm as well. It's I think it helps put more value to the work that you've done. So yeah, it makes you drive, better. I think it increased my drive, because I won it the first year, and then mentally I was like, I really need to work hard this year, so that it's not like a one time thing. you know. And that way I've been blessed that I've won it around 5 times in a row now.
Wow.
But every year it's just that when you're making that submission, when you if telling them what all deals you worked on, what all work you've done, it is just that every year on year, it's a very nice driving force to put in that equal amount of hard work and not just rest on your past laurels. So I think it really helps shape my perspective that way.
Oh, that's beautiful. So it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful, yeah. So that's your motivator. You have internal motivation from your side.
Definitely.
You have something inbuilt.
Yeah,
That's
then it's like every year you know that, you know, you need to make sure that that's happening.
wow. You're
You
tracking
need
your
to work
graph.
hard. Definitely.
That's, I'm learning how you're tracking your graph. I want to go next year. So I have where
Yeah,
I'm
no,
in mid-year.
definitely. So you
Yeah.
keep your, that thing. It keeps you on track.
Wow. So that's beautiful. So awards are your, what do you say, buddies
What am
to
I?
your buddies. Awards are your buddies to motivate
Yeah,
you
yeah,
with your
definitely.
performance. That's beautiful. You have got own strategy. See, so I'm learning from different lawyers what have they for performance, for motivation tools they have. Good. So let's go to your next role as an arbitrator. You have served as an arbitrator. What mindset shift is required when transitioning from advocate to adjudicator?
It's a huge change. And it happened to me. I was reached out to be an independent arbitrator, a single arbitrator in this a matter which was a real estate dispute in relation to a family which was did not get possession of flats, right? So for a builder. So then they reached out to me. And I think your perspective changes so much because as a lawyer, you are hard tuned to either, to think from one side, right? And you are also hardwired to speak. But there you are as an arbitrator sitting, there is just so much responsibility on what you're doing. You have to change and shift your mindset so to accept that you're unbiased. You have to listen to both sides of the argument. You have to listen more than you speak. So I think it's a huge change in your perspective of how you do it. Obviously the basis about irrespective of which side of the table you are, you have to be good in your law. And especially even as an arbitrator, it really helps that you know your basics, you know the procedure becomes very important when you're following as part of it as an arbitrator and making sure everybody gets that proper opportunity to be heard. So yeah, I think there was a huge change. It was a very good experience for me to be in that position. And obviously, and at that point of time, because I was very new to that entire process. And I remember when I was hearing the other side, and they obviously brought in some emotional angle to it as well, because they had some financial issues or some health issues also within their immediate family, which were highlighted. And you realize that at that point how you need to differentiate from that with the actual facts which are there, and not let that particular point color your judgment. So yeah, I think it's a huge learning experience for me.
Wow. So, Siddharth, who has influenced you or has been a mentor from the legal world?
I would name, I've had the opportunity, like I said, to work with a lot of people. In my first law firm, the first partner I worked with, Avimukh Dar, he's one of the founding partners of Indus Law, and I had the opportunity to work with him a lot. So I was really inspired by his love for the law that was there. So that's when I had really, joined, and I think it was his love and passion for law which made me stay back and, fully take up corporate law and the way he was going about it. Then at Khaitan, I've had the opportunity to work with some great partners. Like I said, on the first football deal that I was mentioning, I was working with this
Mm,
partner called Mr. Nikhil Narayan. Uh,
mm,
Very thorough person, and his again, his hard work, his knowledge for the law, And the fact that even at that stature, like I was saying, he was willing to put in those hard hours. And it's very difficult for you as a junior associate to complain about working hard or working x number of hours a day if your partner beats you to it, right? So you can't complain that because he's working doubly hard. So I think that, and I think now mostly over the last few years, one person who I take as a mentor and who's been a very nice factor in shaping the type of lawyer I'm becoming or have become is Mr. Rajat Mukherjee, who's there, and he's also a senior partner at Khaitan. And I've had the opportunity of working with him on some huge and big transactions. So yeah, I think it's just the way he approaches law, and he has a very commercial bent of mind. It's something, it's very solution oriented, and I think that's what I've learned from him. His commitment to his clients, that irrespective of whatever the thing is, the client always comes first. And you have to work, you obviously, while you are a lawyer, but you have to also have your commercial thinking hat on to give
Mm.
proper business oriented, commercially focused solutions. You cannot give an impractical solution that will not work for your client's business. It does not work. You have to give them solutions which are within the law, but at the same time are practical as well.
Wow. So, Siddharth, what role do you believe young lawyers should play in bridging the gap between legal education and practical lawyering?
It's a huge thing. When I finished law and when I started working in corporate law, the first thing I realized was that we were not taught all of this in law school. The practicality of what happens in corporate law is just so much different from what is actually happening when I'm drafting shareholders agreements, and I'm drafting share purchase agreements, share subscription agreements, and there are different commercial contracts that I'm required to draft, and there are different laws which are in play, and maybe this is not what I did in law school, right?
Mm.
And so I think that is one of the reasons when I became a lawyer. In any case, I was very active with my alma mater. So I was with Campus Law Center, CLC, Delhi University. So I in fact now sit on the board of the Alumni Association over there as well. So I'm a treasurer over there. So my idea, and I started from that, from my own college, and it's a very therapeutic thing for me, when I just went to law school, because I realized that these are certain areas where there's a gap, that which I faced as a fresh law student coming out and becoming a young practitioner. So I took it upon myself to prepare this curriculum on M&A, which is developed over the years. Now I take certificate courses in so many colleges, and if it's for so many law students. But the idea is that teach them practically what they will end up using, practical knowledge. In today's day and age, ignorance is no longer an excuse. If you're a young lawyer, you cannot say that this is something which was not taught to me in law school, because even if it is not taught to you in law school, you open a YouTube video and they will teach you what M&A is. There are so many courses which are available, which are there. There's so many articles at your disposal which you can read and understand. So ignorance is no longer an option which is there. And I feel that for law students to bridge the gap, they need to put in that effort. You need to use your free time wisely. You read as much as you can what is actually happening in the corporate world. There are so many landmark cases which come out, read about them. There are very nice articles which are there on every new FEMA notification that comes out, or any notification which affects the corporate world as a whole. There articles are there. There are people like me who are actually taking courses, going in colleges. So take out that effort, try and learn the practical side of it, because the sooner you learn it, the better. And
Mm.
but still nothing will replace what they call learning on the job. But I think that initial effort is something which all law students need to put, because there's no
Wow.
dearth of knowledge which is there online nowadays.
Yes. So, my last question for your professional journey round. What are the most critical skills law students need today to succeed in high stakes corporate law?
What are the skills which law students need today to succeed? I In corporate law, genuinely, I feel that the only skill set that you require, there are two: be honest to your work and be curious. Right? There is nothing which we do is which is rocket science. Nobody's sitting here trying to find the cure for cancer. So there are everything that you've done has been done 1,000 times before. So it's not something that you need to work super hard on. But you just need to be honest with your craft and be curious. Try and read more. If you can put in 1 hour extra before submitting or doing something, just to give in that extra work, try and look for precedents. Every law firm, everybody you work with would have precedents of work which they have done, similar contracts which they made previously. Take out that time to read them, do your homework. It's all old school. It's the same type of crafts which have helped people day in, day out over the years. But I just feel that over the years, we try to look for innovative answers for a lot of things, whereas the answers are those simple answers which have always been there. So be honest with your craft, be curious, and be willing to put in that little extra hard work or homework before doing something. And I think you will succeed. There is nothing which is super complicated about
Wow. So let's go to next round and understand Siddharth as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
it. So my family, so there is me, my mother, and I have two brothers, one elder brother and one younger brother. And soon my wife as well. I'll be getting married in November. So
Wow.
that way, so that is there, and yeah, it's a small close knit family that we have. My formative years and through, I've been in Delhi NCR. I did my schooling from BPS
Wow.
Noida. Then there was after I did schooling, I wanted to try civil services. So for that, at that point of time, I did history honors in Delhi University, Hansraj College, which was brilliant. History is something as a subject which always fascinated me. The strategic history, the military history which was there, and how everything worked, and diplomacy in ancient times. So that was always something with all those things always interested me. So I did right after that. I did uh, Hansraj, and over there it's when I realized that my actually I do want to do law, because that is something which has always, yeah, been there in my mind. Also, but I did study for civil services, but I did not drop out of law school to pursue that fully, because halfway through law school, Hansraj, I realized that law is something is what I want to pursue. So yeah, I started preparing, and I think I joined Campus Law Center, and I had not even applied for any other entrance. So that was the only entrance which I had given. And I had seen the previous year tenure papers, and I saw those tenure papers, question papers, and I was like, okay, this is something that I think I should be able to do that. So yeah, I prepared for that, and law it was. CLC.
Wow. So, are there any hobbies or activities that help you disconnect from the legal world?
Hobbies or activities, reading. I love to read, and I read, fiction, non-fiction, different books. I try to reduce my screen time as well. So I think reading is something I do actively. That is a hobby I've picked up. I've started playing golf a little bit now, that I'm trying to pick that up. So I mean, I've heard a lot about people, people have been, who are super passionate about it. They keep telling me that, it's the most brilliant thing that you pick up. So that's how I've started picking that up, which is there. But yeah, and my hobby is, and it's actually teaching is and more than a hobby, because I do that a lot in my free time. For me, it's therapeutic. I think academia, when I pick that up, just interacting with students, and it's for me, it's a very stress-free zone. I'm always trying to make a deal, negotiating with people, trying to do something like that. But that's just the time when I take on weekends and I interact with students and I'm teaching a course. Just having that conversation with them, for me, that's therapeutic. So I actually do invest a lot of time in that academia as well.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Siddharth, your grandfather's legacy clearly plays a big role in your life. Can you share about the B.R. Handa Memorial Scholarship?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm very active with the Alumni Association at, Campus Lots at CLC. So this has been something that I have been actively, involved with. So there is a lot of interaction with students. I was something when my grandfather passed away. I wanted to do something to honor his legacy and what all he had done. He was the reason that I became fascinated with law to begin with. And his story, his journey, he was a fully self-made man. He left his ancestral house in Punjab to come to Delhi, and his family was, those aristocratic families. He didn't have to work, but he left everything because he wanted to make his own mark, his own name. He came over here. He used to work during the day, so that he was able to do his evening law college. You know, so I was very
Mhm.
fascinated by this entire journey. And I think for me, and he always said that there is no substitute for education. If you are able to help somebody get educated, you've given them the tools that they require to succeed in life. So then that idea came up to start a scholarship for students, and CLC obviously was the natural place. So I think before this, in my formative years, I didn't tell you that I was also the vice president at CLC. So I contested the DU elections which were there. So that law faculty elections, which in itself was one of the greatest learnings that you can have, because CLC is a place where people come from different walks of life. So you have people from different states, different walks of life, everybody over there. So contesting the election over there, going to each and every person, asking for votes, strategizing. And then after that, I realized that, if any pedestal that you have, if you actually want to help people, you can actually make a lot of difference. And over there is when I had tried to get one or two students scholarships. At that point of time, when I was the vice president, I went, and helped them. I was also a part of the Legal Aid Society. I actually set up the legal aid clinic in my college. So all of those things. So CLC was a very natural place for it to happen, and I knew that the kind of impact this can happen, have on people's lives, because sometimes all people need is just a helping hand to go along the way. So yeah, as part of the BR Handa scholarship, we take three students and we provide their entire education fee in law faculty. So all their fees are paid. They are provided with a digital device so that they can, because nowadays everything is online. All your content is online, so you provide that accessibility to people. And in a post-COVID era, with that entire digital India push, it doesn't work any other way. So provide them with that. We try and get them, pay them money so that they can buy books, etc. Just basically. And in fact, I remain connected with all the awardees who are there. So even in addition to that, if there is something where I can actually go and help them, or where they require my assistance, I'm always over there to help them out. So the idea is, yeah, to help them. So we look out for students who are most meritorious and deserving, who require it, and then help them along their journey.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, so Siddharth, in our initial conversation, you talked I learned that you're a Leo. So, how was the experience being a Leo, and how did it help in your next journey in your legal profession?
I think it is something where you take initiative. It teaches you to take initiative, go out and maybe do things for others as well, right? It forces you to think beyond your own self. So I think that as a character trait is something which is very important to help you grow.
Wow. So suppose you had 1 week away from work. What would you do and why?
1 week away from work. If it's just 1 week, I'll sleep. I, I will catch up on my sleep. But I think if there is more time, I think, I don't know. It's
चलो
again, what
1 month दिया, 30 days
1 month.
देते, चलो.
No, travel. Definitely travel. I love to travel. I love
Mhm.
to travel different places, and for me, traveling is more about understanding, the culture of different places. I'm very fascinated. Like I said, I'm a student of history, so I'm very fascinated with different cultures, different places. Go to visit ancient sites, and I had a field day when we visited. Took out some time visit Hampi. Those
Hmm.
brilliant places which are there. So visit different places, in India, abroad, wherever, see their culture. And I like to go to places which have, some historical significance to what is there. And yeah, so that student of history in me is always very curious to go out and do that.
So which place would you like to visit given that time in India?
In India,
Hmm.
what do you think? In India, which place I've been wanting to, visit Tamil Nadu and that southern belt a lot. So maybe that is where I think this southern, how in a lot of southern states, the way they've been able to maintain your ancient heritage that is there, that is brilliant. And there are so many beautiful structures and architectural marvels
Yes.
which are there. You have those ancient temples, the way they've been
Hmm.
built, that entire study in that in itself. I always feel that people try to go to different parts of the world and they are marveled at a lot of things which I'm not saying are not good enough or not beautiful enough, but I feel that our places over here in India don't get enough PR that they should, because we have such beautiful architectural marvels over here. Some of those temples, the way they've been made, the carvings are there with a single rock you've been able to carve out, big temples, the way you've done it, it's just brilliant. So I genuinely feel, and I try to push people as much as possible. Sometimes it's not the popular opinion to tell people, but I genuinely tell them that invest time, go and see these places, and then make up your mind that, but at least give them a fair shot.
Wow, beautiful. So, which book did you complete reading recently, and what part did appeal to you?
Recently, which book did I read? Recently, I read the biography of Ronald Reagan, his autobiography, and
Mhm.
I was very. I think just recently, the way that entire, even in the U.S. with Donald Trump coming into the picture, uh, Republican parties, so much in focus, and Ronald Reagan was the first person who actually made that Republican Party a mainstream party once again. I mean, they were always there, but he was that icon who everybody follows. So just I wanted to understand his journey, and I've always been fascinated with his journey. He was this big movie star, and then the way he transitioned into politics, becoming the president, and becoming such a popular president that he was. So it was interesting, just his perspective on life, the way he did everything. So that's the I think that's the latest book that I've read.
Wow. So, what are your plans for 2025 professionally and personally?
Personally, I'm getting married, like I told you. So that is my personal, and professionally, just keep working more. I think every year as the same thing. Like I said, to just be honest with my work, keep working more, and yeah, I think that's just about it. I don't overcomplicate things with overcomplicated goals.
Wow. So, my last one is a googly one. Describe Siddharth in one line.
I saw in one line. Yeah, that's interesting. There is this one line which I did hear once, and I was really fascinated by it. It sounds better in Hindi, so I mean, I say it in Hindi and then translate it for people.
Mhm.
It is कि मेरा व्यक्तित्व सरल है, पर मैं सरल व्यक्ति नहीं. Which means that even though I have a simple demeanor, I'm not a simple person. And I think that is something which defines me and is very
Wow, I'll remember that. So let's put you in the hot seat. Uh, the rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
Chinese.
Your favorite color.
Favorite color, writing.
One song that instantly lifts your mood.
Any nice Punjabi song.
Hmm. Your favorite Punjabi cuisine.
My favorite Punjabi cuisine, chole kulche.
Best piece of advice received.
Best piece of advice I received from my father. So when I was a kid, I know it's not a hot seat question, but when I was a kid, I was always this idea of doing social service, and I just wanted to focus on that. So my father once sat me down and he told that कि खाली पेट क्या खाली जेब सेवा नहीं होती. You need to be somewhere in life to be able to help people out. And he gave me this example which has always stayed with me. He said that, say, take life as climbing a mountain.
Hmm.
Now, you are standing at the same pedestal with a lot of people. Now, if you're standing at the bottom and you try to push people up, you try to push people up, it's very difficult. But now imagine you've climbed that mountain up a bit. You extend your arm and you pull people up. It's always
Hmm.
easy. So reach a position in life, work hard to reach a position in life, and then go towards helping people. So I think that is the best thing I write. So work hard on yourself so that you can help others.
Wow. Okay. Uh, you're a morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
Wow. Okay. A mantra you live by.
Live and let live.
Coffee or charge to recharge.
Coffee.
That's it.
Yes.
So you did well, and here's a book, Legal AI 101, which will be sent to you with my
Thank
autograph.
you.
So, friends, it was a lovely conversation in every term. As you said, Kibai is not a simple person, but you have to discover, yes, he's a simple person. So, that last line about him, watch that. There is deep meaning. And we wish him our congratulations in advance for your happy married life. Uh, so, he, he's a top M&A lawyer. Watch this episode, all the legal professionals, how you can be a top M&A lawyer. And he has a graph of by how you can uh, achieve better in next year. So he's himself has kept his graph, and awards are that his buddies. As I said in my earlier conversation, one is that, and uh, being part as an educator is his apna therapy. So all those young legal professionals, marry your what do you say, career and your passion. What is he doing? Plus, he's empowering law students through his grandfather's scholarship. So that is very beautiful, and he's working hard, and he's part of alumni also. So he's in true sense. Uh, Now I would request you, you should join Lions Club in your area. So you will add more things, and there will be, what do you say, your scholarship will go to a bigger level.
Definitely. But thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah. So, friends, subscribe, and there are 500 coffee speakers at this the Coffee Corner show. And if you want to feature like Siddharth, visit a website or a LinkedIn page, or connect with one of the coffee speakers. They would put in a word. So we meet on Monday with another coffee speaker. The conversation continues, but over a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you.